You are listening to KUR Kutztown, the radio voice of Kutztown University. Welcome back to the second hour of School of Mosh, the inaugural episode. With me, of course, by the way, I didn't say this, but I'm Professor Mosh. With me, of course, is Nick O, and you have finally tuned in for the interview part. So, I'm going to turn down this music a little bit, and we're going to get kind of a little bit into it, I guess, but not quite into it, because there's still one thing we got to do. We got to get some things straight. First off, who are you?
My name is Nick Ottaviano. I'm 22 years old, and I play drums in Catharsis Theory.
What's your blood type?
Type O negative.
All right, Peter.
Keep it real metal.
Oh my God, that's some old reference, man. That hurts. So, you said you're in Catharsis Theory, right?
Yes.
And you're the drummer. What happened to Andrew?
I don't know, Andrew. You tell me.
Oh yeah.
What happened to you?
Yeah, what happened to me? I got bored of playing guitar, so I got bored of playing drums, so I jumped on guitar, and then Nick came by. He made my hoagie and Wawa one day, and then I was just like, "Yo, you want to be in a band?" And the rest is history.
And here we are.
So yeah, and here we are indeed. In fact, do you know of any haps? Everybody's texting me right now, getting on air. Thanks, guys. But do you know of anything going on with, Catharsis Theory? Are they doing anything special at all?
We got some music that we're working on.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, we do? Well, what do we have?
This is I believe, a song called Avalanche.
Oh, well, you believe absolutely correct. That is right, folks. Today is your lucky day because we're getting a new Catharsis Theory song on the air. So, I'm sure I've made mention of it, and if you're listening, you're probably one of my friends, and you know that we've been working on a little album for a little bit. Actually, what you're hearing is a demo of the album right now called Dairy Queen. It won't be called that in the future, but what we do have is the finalized version of one of the songs off of our album. This is a song called Avalanche off of the album. We don't really know a title yet, but we're getting there. Should be out by the end of the year. If it's not, we'll start crying. But in the meantime, it'll
be out by the end of the year.
Okay, Nick decided that it'll be out by the end of the year. He made sure it'll be out by the end of the year.
The last album released this decade. December 31st, 11:59. You can download it.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case, it'll be out by the end of the year. But let's stop talking about the album. Let's start talking about this song. This is Avalanche by Catharsis Theory. This is the debut, the only time anybody has ever heard it. So consider yourself very special. You are listening to KUR Kutztown, the radio voice of Kutztown University. Wow. So yeah, that was the debut single. The first time anybody officially heard that on air was just then.
Was right now.
Yeah, it was right now. So wow, congrats you guys for being here for that. That's pretty amazing. I wonder if we get royalties for that, for playing it on air. That'd be sweet. That's also probably like very
0.003 cents.
Yeah, worse than Spotify. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, this is your first work with Catharsis Theory.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's kind of hard to ask questions to you considering like I'm in the band. I know most of these answers already, but we're gonna try and make it as sort of interviewee as possible. So, so this is the first work with the band, and if I'm not mistaken, when we first started this album, it was everything was sort of written and then kind of just given to you to learn, but you had a lot of input when writing these drum parts for it.
Yep.
Especially like I think you started out playing them different live, and then once you did that, we went back and we were like, all right, we got to rewrite this. Like, this is crazy. Like, not so much Avalanche just because we haven't played that live, but like another song on the record is Skin Like Glass, which we went back and changed the parts just because you had a lot of input on that. So
Yep.
yeah, it was fun. Do you have any lyrical input at all? I know the answer, but
I've written one song on the record. The song's going to be called The Gift of Isolation, track 5, I believe.
Something like that.
And that song is just kind of about being trapped in your own headspace and both the positive and negative that comes out of that.
I looked at the lyrics for that and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Like you sent us the lyrics and we were like, oh, like, whoa, nice. All right. I can dig that. But the whole album's sort of about that kind of depressive feel almost. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was written during last year, and last year was a very tumultuous year for...
Don't get me started.
Yeah. We don't got to go into that, but yeah, it was not a fun year particularly, but I don't know. Next album could be about rebuilding that, so...
Next album's going to be about whatever next album's about.
Exactly. So, you've actually been sort of a blessing in disguise for the band a little bit because you kind of kicked us into high gear.
That came out of his mouth.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm being serious because we were definitely kind of playing around a bit much, and we were like, all right, we need to get serious now. And there's no hiding it. We've kind of been taking a break most of this year just to kind of get our feet back on the ground, and then we can, figure out what we're doing.
Which is understandable when half your band walks away like that.
Yeah, it was a very I'll say their exit from the band was very kind of that one hurt because we were friends with those guys since like elementary school, middle school, and
Right.
growing up with them, it worked out, but just different life paths. But I could say now everybody in the band is 100% committed to the band. So this is, in my opinion, the
Absolutely.
best lineup that Catharsis Theory has seen. And we've gone through a couple. We were a 4-piece when we started. We had a keyboard player in the beginning.
Oh, yeah?
Just fun. We might have been Dream Theater at one point. So
Aha.
yeah, that's what we started doing. But I have to say this should be a really good album. So what's if you had to pick one song from the album for most people to look most forward to, what would it be? I can tell you mine right off the bat. It's probably the same one.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm stoked on the whole record. I want to put that out there first. Like you were talking about earlier, I didn't have any direct input as far as like writing riffs or putting song structures together. But when you guys handed me the record and were like, this is going to be the record. If you want to join this band, you have to learn these songs. And it was like, this is stuff that I wish I had written.
Yeah.
Stuff that I'm like, I can't, like, you think, not the song I'm going to talk about in a second, but the first song on the record is called On Bent Knees, and it just, like, it sounds like Colony Era In Flames, and I'm like, this is exactly what I want to listen to right now. This is exactly, like, you would have sworn I would have written this and been like, here, you guys go deal with it.
Yeah. Every single text message that Nick sends to the band, it's always like, yeah, so we bring in On Bent Knees into our live set, right? And Fortunately, we're going to wait until at least closer to when the album's released.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. I don't want to say anything quite yet. We're thinking of doing a record release show, maybe in Kutztown. We don't know yet, but we're going to play around with that. Yeah. What were you going to say? I saw you waggling your finger at me.
Yeah. The song on the record that I am the most proud of, and the song that I want people to be as stoked as I am about, is the final song on the record. It is called A Faltering Smile.
I was just about to say that.
And it's like 8 minutes long. It's dynamic. It's got peaks and valleys. It's just constant rising and falling, different moods, different atmospheres. And even just listening to the song instrumentally, I can already hear where vocals are going to go.
Yeah.
And like I can't put into words how excited I am. Once I heard that song, I knew this was going to be a very special record.
Yeah, absolutely. Did any song from like the previous EPs kind of get you in that like sort of like, oh, I want to be in this band sort of thing, or were you just kind of like, eh?
When you handed me The Moon and I had to learn the songs for that, the first thing on the record was Daydreamer, and I like that song. I like that song now that we've played it live, but I think the production on that record isn't the best.
You could say horrible. It's okay. The production's horrible.
So it kind of put me off. But then as I heard some of the last couple songs on the record, in particular, one song that caught my interest was a song called Old Gods, which just has this groove to it. It's got like a drum and bass break in the middle, and again, very dynamic, and I like that about it a lot.
It's a whole hardcore song. Like that's probably the most hardcore we'll get, like straight up old hardcore NYHC, PAHC. Yeah.
And then the final song on that record is the song called The Moon, which is a song that I try and I'm like, dude, you got to listen to the song. Like, I can't believe like my friends wrote this.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Oh, thank you. That was that's an old one. Like, I think me and Nick wrote that when we were like 16 or something. And we were like, we want to make this a whole thing, but we will be re-recording that EP very soon.
Yeah, so look forward to that too.
Yeah. So that'll be out. We're debating whether to put that out before or after the record. I'm leaning more towards after, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, yeah, but before, just to like get it out. And
yeah,
that's like a day or two in the studio. We go in like, okay, track all the songs in one go and then be done with it.
Because those songs I think every one except for Impasse we've played live, and
yeah,
Impasse is another song that I enjoy quite a bit, but it's a different type of song. So. Not sure if we'll ever play that one live. I think you guys played it before I joined the band.
We played it once live, and it kind of didn't go over the best. But like after when we actually released the whole EP and we showed people it, they were like, "Oh, Impasse is the best one on the record by far." That's because it's the most like accessible song. It's very like metalcore, old style sort of thing.
Yeah.
So very good. I actually have to do some legal thing real quick. So. Just because I have to, from the KUR Notebook, attention community, are you looking to launch your business idea? Do you want to grow your community? Our Kutztown University Small Business Development Center is here on campus to support you with training and no-cost consulting. Call 484-646-5935 for more information. This message of community interest brought to you by the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR Kutztown, as always. So that's fun. We got that out of the way. So now we get to chat more. So... How are you? How you feeling in the band? You enjoying the band? You enjoying the little camaraderie we got going on here?
Yeah.
I will say when we played the Kutztown show back in May, I was like, okay, I like this lineup. This lineup's good. Like, I enjoy this. But after we did our little run in June, I don't know if the listeners have ever been crammed in a car with 4 or 5 different people
and half a band's worth of equipment.
Mm-hmm. It's
like dudes sitting on top of one another.
Yeah.
Guitars on top of people.
It was a rough ride, but we got through it, and it kind of brought us together more. It was a very fun time. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was awesome. So.
During that first Kutztown show, because it's like, it's your first show with a band, and it's people that, some of them but others you've maybe seen once or twice. Mm-hmm. So you're like, I don't know how this is going to go. And it felt like I had been in this band forever. Like there's no egos in this band. Everyone's very real. Everyone's very upfront. And everyone's just genuine good people.
Yeah, I mean, we try to sort of, I don't know, it's sort of, with the older stuff more so, it was kind of like one or two people running the whole show, but now that we got the new lineup, I'm like, yo, everybody's doing their own thing in this band, and I really, really love it, and everybody else in the band loves it, so it's a very
I agree.
fun thing. So I know a lot of local bands in the area, and we were talking about this before the show, your last band, Running the Daylight, that wasn't really the case so much as it was, so it was, I mean, if you want to...
Broadening was... The way that band started and the way that band ended up being very different. And I think a lot of that just had to deal with people changing, people, you put so much love into something, eventually you just kind of want to see it out to how you envision it. And I think by the time that we had released the Theseus EP, which came out in 2015, once that was done and we were writing for, at that point, our second record, everyone was kind of going in different directions.
Mm.
I wanted to embrace, you know me, because I grew up on, thrash and faster stuff, so I wanted to keep everything, high energy, high tempo, kind of like how some of the later songs on that record, like Integrity, like how those were going. And then other people were kind of looking to be more in like a groove thing, and okay, we want to play 7 strings and do that mud tone.
Oh God, the Korn tone.
Yeah, which I love Korn, I love Meshuggah, and I love all those bands and Periphery and whatnot, but
that's not really what you were going for. So.
Yeah, and it turned into everyone just started butting heads and people were rejecting ideas, and then we would have songs, and some of the songs I really liked and I wish we could have recorded, and I wish, we could have put it out, and then other songs I was not into.
Yeah. And I can't speak for other local bands because I'm not in them, but from what I've heard from talking to people, that's not an uncommon issue. A lot of the times it turns into one guy running the whole show.
A band is a compromise.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've compromised on a ton. We wanted to get this record out.
That's why our album title isn't named yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's just because,
we have a name, Andrew and I have a name that we want to go for with, but we're not sure about it.
Mm-hmm. We're not sure about it because other band members, I guess, I'm not really throwing shade, so I could say, Bastion, the singer, is not really a huge fan of the album record title, and we're like, okay, that's fine. What did you bring to the table? And we kind of got to be like, okay, let's see what we can work with.
We don't want to do it if he's not happy with it, but at the same time, I feel super strongly about it. I believe you do as well.
I think the title is awesome. I think me and Nick wanted to name it Counting Sheep, Counting Scars. It's kind of the duality and naivety of sort of growing up in that black and white.
What that means is you look at people, and you have people who they've been very sheltered their whole life. They're, still within their comfort zone. They've never been put in a situation where they've suffered from, say, anxiety or any kind of harsh animosity. And then you have the scarred people who, have dealt with that their whole life and have been, every day that they move forward, they try and adapt to that. They try and move past anxiety. They try to move past animosity. And that's kind of what the record is about seeing all of these kind of depressive episodes happen around them. Yeah. And just trying to cope with it.
Mm-hmm. And that's, and Danny Bastion wants another title that I'm not sure. It's a little more on the depressive side. I mean, the whole album is a depressing album.
Life is hard, people.
Yeah, it's a pretty dark album. It's a really dark lyrically and conceptual album, but Bastion wants to he wants to go more into that darker direction, while I think we want to stay more in that sort of in-between zone. So that's something we just got to talk about,
The way I see it, life is never one thing for too long.
Yeah.
You're never going to be 100% happy. You're never going to be 100% angry. You're never going to be 100% sad. It's always changing, and with every day comes a different set of emotions and a different outlook on what you've done with the rest of your life, as well as moving forward.
Yeah, and we touch on a million. No two songs have the exact same lyrical content. Avalanche, Bastion penned the lyrics for those, and you could probably tell it was very censored live. It's a very angry song, And that kind of goes for the concept of that goes for everyone. It's sort of like trying to break away from like what other people are trying to kind of push onto you, and you're trying to kind of get away from that and, you know, not butt heads with people like we've been doing this whole time. So that's what that song's about. I know Gift of Isolation we went over. Another song, Skin Like Glass, is about people using that sort of those emotions, those quote unquote like bad emotions or taboo emotions as like ways to seek attention, which we hate. That's dumb. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Please don't do it. If you do that and you listen to our music, stop listening to our music.
Please don't use depression as an attention getter.
Absolutely not. That's probably the biggest pet peeve. Not pet peeve. That's the biggest thing we hate as a band. Like, don't do that. And we've seen people do it and we hate it, but, you know, rise above that because we're better people. Being the better person, we win every time. Born anew. Viva Parlamentre.
We got to play Born Anew on the next show.
We do got it. I played 107 one time, and that was a fun time trying to edit that out live. I was like, oh, God, this is a vulgar song. But I'm like, I got through it. No naughty words were aired. Did perfect. Good job, me. So, when we come back, I got two little things to play real quick. But when we come back, we're going to keep talking about this album. We made jokes that we would talk about Halo 2. We might honestly do that.
And we still might.
We still might. Honestly, I'm down. Let's talk about Halo. But
let's do it.
Let's talk. I got to air these things first, but I am completely down to talk about Halo. Mostly 2, though. I've been playing a lot of Halo 2 lately.
I've been listening to the Halo 2 soundtrack a lot.
That's really good, actually. We're thinking about using some of the songs from that actually during our live sets. They're just so cinematic. Like, they're so good.
The Halo 2 soundtrack was a big influence on this record, and that is not a joke.
That's no way a joke. The Halo soundtrack, period, any of them was a giant.
We love Marty O'Donnell.
Give Salvatore some love, man. Like, everyone.
We love him, too.
You know what? Steve Vai, you're cool, too. So, let's air these two things real quick, and then we'll come right back. You were listening to KUR Kutztown, the radio voice of Kutztown University.
It's from 10 to 12, KUR gets a bit crazier. Whether you're looking for rock, or maybe some electronic dance music, or anything else in between. That means Split Wires, hosted by the Mad Hatter, is the show for you. Tune in live at www.kutztown.edu/KUR. KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University.
I'm Officer Greg Davis with the Exeter Township Police Department. This month, my department will join Buckle Up PA, the PA Traffic Injury Prevention Project, and safety partners across the country to crack down on drivers who do not properly secure young riders in car seats. We will be highlighting the importance of buckling up as well as helping parents and guardians take advantage of safety resources. Law enforcement will be writing tickets to save lives. Please buckle up.
You are listening to the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR Kutztown, the School of Mosh. I'm Professor Mosh, and Nico is also in the studio.
Ahoy!
Ahoy! Ahoy Club! Ahoy Club! He's doing the Ahoy Peter Rono, yes!
Can I just say I think Peter Rono is a genius?
Is it Rono or Rono?
That guy.
I'm just going to call him Kanashi Pete. He is a genius. That's honestly, man, God, why did you do it? All of Kanashi's discography, perfect.
I agree.
We should just talk about how much we love Kanashi on this show.
Shout out to Kanashi for signing the Equal Vision.
Yeah, really. I am wearing my Kanashi hoodie right now, and I can't be more proud of the boys. I can't be. Like, Why Did You Do It is a flawless album. I think it's absolutely perfect.
Production's really good, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, duh. But I saw him signed to Unbeaten. Not signed, but I saw him do the distribution through Unbeaten. I'm like, okay. And I saw Equal Vision. I'm like, okay, all right. That's what we're talking about.
Someone posted a picture, I think on Instagram, of the liner notes to the vinyl version of Why Did You Do It? Mm-hmm. And I saw the Equal Vision logo on there, and I thought that was a joke. Like,
oh, no.
Like they put that on there, like, hey, look at us, like, we're real. And then they announced they signed the Equal Vision the very next day, and I was like, oh, man. Big boy moves out here.
Yeah, really. So, not even going to lie, Why Did You Do It was kind of a huge inspiration for this album. Like,
I think Kaunashi as a whole was an influence on this record.
yeah, really. They're like,
and an influence on us as a band, just in the way that, because the scene that they came up in, they were definitely an outcast band.
yeah,
I think.
and they just
What they were
broke through.
doing was more musically complex and still more melodic than, say, Varials or Jesus Piece or any of those bands.
Not to knock on those bands, like we love both.
Oh,
of
I
them,
love
but
those
yeah,
bands.
Philly hardcore.
I would
represent.
prefer those bands not get complex or melodic. They should just keep doing what they're doing.
Because it's perfect. Anything to numb. Sinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of those. But seriously, like, even the lyrical content of Why Did You Do It, like, or the lyrical content of their whole discography, let's be honest, like, they're not afraid to touch on those.
Again, Peter is a genius.
Exactly. It's just ridiculous. And I think that brutal honesty is something that more bands need. Like,
I agree.
You can make a depressing song like The Ministry of Lost Souls by Dream Theater. Throwback to when I made you load in drums to that song.
Not what I want to be listening to when I'm carrying 50-pound guitar amplifiers and whatnot in.
It was a sad day, but that was your initiation, so you passed, so or something.
Or something.
Or something.
I'm still here.
Yeah, so I guess that means something. But like that's a depressing song, but like I can't really relate to that too much. Why Did You Do It though? Like, whoo, baby. That's a wild song. Or that's a wild album. So we played Hindsight the first hour. That's like still one of their best songs.
I forgot about that song. I saw them when they only had Native out, like a long, long time ago. There was this band from around here called Armory Infirmary, and I think it was their last show, and Kaunashi played, and I was just like, this band is incredible.
Oh, Armory Infirmary, rest in peace. Rest in peace. Dang, dude. That hurts.
That Rest EP, I still think is really good. I
Yeah.
was listening to it not that long ago, and I was just taken back to that time.
Yeah.
That and Knocked Loose's Pop Culture, to me, like, those are just time capsules of that era for heavy music.
See, I didn't get into this scene, at least the local scene, until, I don't want to say 2017, but I'll say like the tail end of 2017 is when I really sort of started jumping into the local scene because, funny story, the first live show I've actually played that was a legitimate live show, I was playing with a band called Forsaken in Darkness. And it turns out, that band opened for Broadening the Daylight on their last show.
That was the final Broadening show.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, really? I saw that and I was like, oh, whoa. I didn't know I was opening for them. They just needed a drummer. I was like, yeah, heck yeah, I'll join, dude. I'll jump in for a show. And then Forsaken died. I think half the bands at that show died. Like Stargazer's out.
Stargazer were so good.
Yeah.
I miss that band so much.
I think I saw them open for Periphery back in Reverb. It's like, ooh,
yeah,
I like that. But
yeah,
they dipped. I think I played Tuila, or not Tuila. I played Temple of Solace once on the show, but
yeah,
that was a really good one. I do miss those guys. Barry, Dismal. I think those. I don't know.
I think Dismal's still active.
They are?
I don't know.
Oh. Breaking Falls kind of had like a rebirth almost. Like they had a like a renaissance.
I forgot Breaking Falls played that show.
Yeah. That was the first time I met those guys actually. They were great people. Loved those guys. But yeah, that was just such a crazy thing, but
yeah, it's weird to think. And while I'm thinking about it, I think that was the first time I met you.
It was.
The first time I met Nick was when we worked together
at Wawa.
Yeah, and it was. I just remember we didn't say like a word to one another for like 7 hours or something, and then it's like 10:59 or whatever. We're like about to leave, and he just comes up to me and he goes, "You play drums, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah," because he sees me like tapping on shelves or whatnot, and I was like, "What kind of music do you listen to?" And he was like, Whitechapel. And I was like, "Okay, you can stop there."
I was like, "Oh, I understand."
He's just going, like,
"I got you."
If that's your tastemaker band, like, oh, okay,
yeah,
we're friends now.
Yeah, that's
And he told me he played guitar in a band called Catharsis Theory, and I should go and check out their Bandcamp, I think, at the time.
And you did, and you hated it, and that was that. But
and I did. I remember what was odd about that conversation is I was like, "What tuning do you guys play in?" "Oh, well, we play 6, 7, and 8 string guitars." I was like, "Oh,
one of those bands."
Okay.
So,
And, 2.5, almost 3 years later, I'd like to think that we pull it off pretty well.
we do. I hope so. We got interludes now. That's got to be worth something. But, yeah. It was a fun time back in those days.
Yeah.
So, I really liked it. But, yeah. That's in the past now. The future, we're just kind of doing whatever we live in. Snake Charmer.
Buy our new record.
Yeah, buy our new
Buy
record.
Everyone go and listen to Mitsuki by Snake Charmer.
Listen to that whole EP. My lord, that EP is great. Like, the Dream Garden, wonderful. Amazing album. Or record, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
We just got off tour with those guys.
we did. We did that, and Murderous Intent were the guys we hung out with. That was such a laid-back show, like a laid-back tour.
I would
I
love
think-
to do a full run with both
Mhm.
of those bands.
Yeah, that was... It was...
And not in a car this time.
Oh, yeah, please. That was horrible. Someone donate a van, please. I'm begging. That was... If there's, like, a future band or a future local band that's, like, listening or something, like, when you play shows, be that cool. Like, when we got to the show, I think the first thing Brian said to me was, like, yo, you want to kiss? I was like, yeah, come over here, dude. We kind of hugged.
Can we talk about Tombstone now? And how much I love those guys?
Oh, yeah, Josh and Brian.
Best
They were
dudes.
Best dudes. I had them on the show, actually, twice in a row.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Last semester, those two are great.
Do you have
dudes.
that archived?
I might. I don't know.
Let me get a copy.
I'll have to go back. That was a fun show. We were talking about like the local scene as we always do, but that was a very, very also laid back. They're such cool dudes.
They are.
Like I don't even like Josh will text me out of the blue like at least once or twice a day about like a meme or something or like just a joke, or he'll tag me in something. And it just so happens that he also books shows. I'm like,
yeah.
awesome.
I just started doing flyers for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They asked me to do it, and I was like, don't come to me. Go to Nico. I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey.
But those are great.
And I was
great
like,
guys.
sure, add that to the 500 other freelance projects I have going on.
Sounds fun for a content creator. Yeah.
Keeps me busy
Yeah.
when I'm not working on the new Catharsis Theory record.
Which we are working on. Bastion, get in the studio. Come on now.
Yes,
Slowly but surely.
we're
We'll
getting
get
there,
We'll get there. We're tired. We're busy. We're bored.
and we're still hungry.
We're still hungry.
Send us money and a van
Yeah.
and more money.
And Wawa gift cards or McDonald's gift cards, either way.
Wawa gift cards.
Yeah. I can go for a hoagie right now. You want to end the show early and run to Wawa? Well,
We'll
But-
just play all of the Native by Kaunashi. And
oh, you right. 3 times in a row.
There you go.
I think it's clean, too. I think the whole thing's clean, but I think Exit is the best breakdown they've ever had as a band, but yeah.
Let me ask you something.
What's up?
Which part of Exit is your favorite? 1, 2, or 3?
Oh, God. That one's rough. You shouldn't have asked me that. Part 4. See, I'm not going to say part 2, only because of all of their records, I think X Prayers is the one that I listen to probably the least, which is weird because Drift is definitely one of my favorite Kaunashi
X Prayers
songs.
I love. X Prayers is... It's hard for me to say it's like one of my favorites because I love all of them and there's only 4.
Yeah. But
But-
that one's like 2.
Even like songs like My Life Fell Apart, like I still listen to.
Oh, I
them.
love that one. It's just a nice little interlude break for anybody that doesn't know, and it's just
Yeah.
calming, sort of.
And like you said, Drift Bops.
Yeah. I think I'm going to say part 3, only because I think it is, like I said, I think Why Did You Do It is a perfect album. Like, no joke, it might be in my top 5 favorite albums, probably hovering around the 4
With
or 5.
Dream Theater and more Dream Theater and
It-
that other Dream Theater. And
If- If you want
Yeah.
my actual top 5, it would probably go 5 would be Why Did You Do It? I don't know, though. This is a hard question. Wow, this is difficult. If I had to do my actual top 5, it would probably be Why Did You Do It at number 5, Images and Words at number 4, Juggernaut by Periphery at number 3, Scenes from a Memory by Dream Theater number 2, and then Converge is Jane Doe at number 1. I think Jane Doe is my favorite album of all time.
You can't beat Jane Doe.
No, it's a flawless album. I always rate an album based on, like, okay, this is good, but, like, do I still get that same feeling from listening to it the first time? And if I do, then it's, like, up there. Like,
Every now and again, I just hear the opening to Hell to Pay just, like, come out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, we're going here now.
Yeah, we're going in that zone, but I think that album's perfectly paced. Like, it's just...
Sometimes I forget how good that album is, like, until I listen to it, and I'm like... Because my first time listening to that record was... I kept hearing all this talk about Converge, how they're, like, the best band in the world, and their lyrics are so poetic, and the music is so melodic, and I guess I expected something along the lines of, like, Poison the Well or one of those bands,
definitely.
and then I got hit with Concubine, and I was not ready.
Yeah, I remember...
I was not ready. I couldn't even make it past that because I had to, like, legit stop the record, catch my breath.
I remember it was, I saw in freshman year, there was a kid who was a grade above me who I'm still pretty good friends with. Hi, Shane. I haven't talked to you in a little bit, but I hope you're still doing well. He was wearing a Converge shirt with, like, just the Jane Doe face, no words, anything. I asked him, like, what band is it? It was like, oh, nice Misfits shirt. And he was like, no, dude, it's Converge. And I'm like, oh, word? He's like, yeah, go home and listen to Jane Doe. So I did, put on Concubine. I was like, I don't like this. Like, whatever. But I kept seeing the shirt around. I was like, that's a really cool shirt, and I want to wear it. But, like, I can't wear it unless I listen to the album. And this is the time I started listening to heavier stuff. So I finally did listen to it. I was like, whoa. Hold on. This is something else. I was like, this is, like, next level.
One other thing I want to say, since you mentioned it, I think Jacob Bannon, like, his artwork that he's done artwork for so many bands, all the Converge stuff, all of his other projects, like Wear Your Wounds and whatnot. He's done art for Under Oath and As I Lay Dying.
Did art for some other band that I'm trying to put my finger on.
He does art for a bunch of bands, but I think his art is just as good as Converge's music.
Oh, absolutely.
I think every piece that he comes up with just perfectly encapsulates, like, each of the Converge album artwork just perfectly encapsulates what the record is about. Like, I can't listen to Jane Doe without thinking about that cover. I can't listen to You Fail Me without thinking about that cover.
Yeah. I think, and I definitely think that album art is something that, I love how we just get off topic like that, so.
No, let's just keep it going.
Yeah, so I honestly do think that album art changes my perception on an album. Changes the way it sounds, in a way. When I think of like Scenes from a Memory, I think like sort of mystery, like, okay, what's going on? Like, I got to just dissect this. Like, I got to see what's going on here. I see Why Did You Do It, for example, just the hoodie, the shoes, and the bag on the ground. I'm like, this is a upsetting album. Like, this is not a happy album. And so many, I don't even think there's like a favorite album that doesn't have like impressive artwork.
Yeah.
The only one that I can maybe think of that doesn't is Periphery's Juggernaut. But
I mean, that's the double album, right?
Yeah.
Alpha Omega.
Yeah, and if you take off I consider it one album just because.
Yeah, well, it was released in two parts.
Yeah, but when I do when you take off the cover with the P and the 3 dots, it reveals this beautiful artwork that perfectly like makes sense with the album, and I think that's just amazing. But I'm like really trying to think of an album that I love but just has horrible artwork, and I can't. Like, I don't even know.
I don't know.
This is a hard question.
It's weird. You said that. The first thing that comes to mind is some of the Avenged Sevenfold albums have incredible art, and then some of them I'm just like, because it usually just ends up being a photo of the Deathbat, and they've done that on 3 albums now.
Honestly,
as opposed to if you look at City of Evil or Nightmare, where the Deathbat was like a character incorporated. I think both those albums have fantastic art, especially Nightmare.
Yeah,
that's like the most perfect representation of the way that record sounds like sonically.
Yeah, that sort of blue understated hue. I don't know. I kind of find that a little cheesy in my opinion, but
that's just me.
Yeah, I think sounding the 7th, like, okay, normal. Waking the Fallen, kind of boring, but it's also a darker album, and it's
Now, have
sonically
you
dark.
seen, if you take the black sleeve off and the inner artwork?
Oh,
have
yes,
you
yes,
seen
yes,
that?
I have seen that.
That
That
is
is
really good.
beautiful.
I think that should have. I mean, it makes sense that they just had the black with the death bat on the front, like for that album.
Yeah.
And then, but the artwork underneath that, I think, is what I associate. And
Yeah.
you listen to a song like "I Won't See It in Night" Part 1, and it just like is perfect.
Yeah. I think of actually my favorite Avenged album. They're self-titled, the understated, completely white background with just the death bat. I think that's perfect.
Now, for a self-titled album, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. See, yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about Dream Theater kind of has some whack artwork lying around.
I like most of Dream Theater's art. I'm trying to think.
I think, and I'm gonna
Awake has one of my favorite album covers.
Yeah, I think there's a little much going on there, but it's
Which-
still a great cover.
Which is funny because I don't know if you know this, but the dude had to literally just pull like stock images
really,
off
I
the internet.
did not
And
know that
album
actually.
came out in 1994, so there wasn't too many options available on the internet.
And still somehow got every song in there. Like,
yeah,
it represented.
and I love that. I famously have a Awake long sleeve T-shirt that I wore way too much in high school, to the point where it's unwearable now. And thank you, Mom, for buying that for me for Christmas. I got that while I was in the hospital, so that meant a lot to me.
Yeah. Aw, it's cute. But then they released their self-titled, and it's kind of crappy. Like, it's not that
Yeah.
good. Yeah. And the Astonishing is just terrible. But the Astonishing in general is horrible.
We don't speak about that.
Astonishingly awful, maybe, but that's about
The
it.
Dramatic Turn of Events album, when it's just a dude on the tightrope, right?
Yeah.
Tightrope,
I
excuse
think
me.
that's a little boring, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's Prague.
I'm trying to think, but one other thing that I want to point out is each one of those albums has like a different
vibe.
that you think like when I think of Octavarium, I think of the Newton Balls. When I think of Systematic Chaos, I think of the ants and the street signs.
Yes, absolutely. I'm actually thinking about getting a tattoo of the streetlight with the
Ooh.
Majesty symbol. I'm thinking of
I
doing
am
that.
actually wearing my Systematic Chaos shirt right now
seriously?
underneath. Yeah, I can't show you because the zipper's broken on this hoodie, but
I think I'm wearing a Catharsis Theory shirt under my KO hoodie.
I was gonna say something. And I'm like, eh.
It's like not quite wearing your own band's.
Remember what I said about there's no egos in this band? I swear that's true.
He takes it back now, but I got more legal stuff to air.
All right.
But it's in all honesty, like we're gonna go back to this topic. I really enjoy this topic for some reason, but
Artwork.
yeah, it's I don't know why, but it's like
I would say let's talk about the Catharsis Theory album artwork, but
we don't know what we're doing with that yet.
I have way too many ideas for that, and I told you some of them, and then I thought of something the other day, and I might just scrap everything and just run with it.
I still like the original idea we had. It was like, oh, it's kind of nice, but we actually got to find artists, and then that's just a whole ordeal.
We're getting there.
We are slowly but surely getting
We
there.
swear.
Stay tuned. We got a little legal things to air real quick, but you were listening to KUR Kutztown, the radio voice of Kutztown University.
Follow KUR, an award-winning radio station, on Twitter to receive exciting daily content delivered straight to your newsfeed. You'll discover diverse music, breaking news, and engaging student DJ content. Visit twitter.com/KURadio to tweet along. Remember to use hashtag KURadio on social media. We are the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR.
Hey there, Kutztown. It's Allie,
Sam,
and Eric
from the Career Development Center. If you're a senior, congratulations. Come to one of our 3 senior kickoff events on Wednesday, August 28th from 3 to 3:50, Thursday, August 29th from 11 to 11:50, or Tuesday, September 3rd from 11 to 11:50. All 3 will be taking place in MSU 218. You'll walk away with the information and support you need to finish strong at KU. Oh, and there's a free gift involved. See you there.
checking Kayuu Headlines. Kutztown University has been featured as one of the best in the Northeast by the Princeton Review for 2020. The education services company is widely known for its test prep programs and college and graduate school guides. KU is among 224 institutions named to the regional list and has been named to the list more than a dozen times in the last 20 years. The Best in the Northeast list is compiled via drawing upon information from surveys taken by students and administrators. News comes hourly on your news leader here in Northeastern Berks County, KUR.
You are listening to KUR Kutztown, the radio voice of Kutztown University. And of course, I am here with, well, this is the School of Mosh with Professor Mosh. I'm too busy texting my mom back because she was listening to the show. Thanks, Mom.
Aw.
But I'm here with Nico. We're talking about album
Can we
art
get a
still.
shout out to moms real quick?
Yeah, really. Tell your moms you love them. Like, I'm getting a little mad.
That's actually part of the reason why I was late, is because I was giving my grandmother a birthday card.
Good. Oh, that's completely allowed then. Oh, you weren't even late either. Like, you were just a little...
That's why I showed up like 2 minutes before we went on it.
Yeah, oops. But tell your moms you love them, man. I was actually in Walmart today with a couple friends. It was actually with Nick, his girlfriend, and our friend Dante. And I found a copy of Love You Forever, like, in the book section because they were looking at posters. And I read it, and no joke, I started tearing up a little bit in Walmart. I was like, wow. Like, that reached some, like, deep nostalgic thought in the back of my brain. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, that ties into albums a little bit. Like, if you listen to something when you were younger and it has that nostalgic flair, and then you listen to it again when you're older, or you read it again when you're older, and you view it from a completely new perspective, that's something special.
Songs you didn't like back then, now you listen to and you're like, man,
Exactly.
I get it.
Exactly. So, album art.
Yeah, we're still on album
We're
art.
still trying to think of, like, bad album art. Like, in that little minute 30, we were like, all right, bad albums art. And we were just like, they're like...
Like I said, most,
can't think of any.
like, I just kind of pass up on. I'm like, if it's not, like, wowing me, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, one that sort of comes to mind that I don't really dig a lot is Holy Hell by Architects. So it has that kind of kaleidoscope thing going on. Like, it's kind of boring.
That's not the one with, like, the faded out sun, right?
No, that's All Our Gods of a Band.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that artwork is amazing for the album.
Yeah. What's the one for Holy Hell? I have the internet. Why am I using it?
Yeah, it's literally just like a gray kaleidoscope, which I guess kind of the colors kind of tie in with the theme of the album. Like, they lost their guitarist to skin cancer. Rest in peace, Tom Surley. But I mean, it's just kind of like, really? That's it? Like, it's kind of boring, but oh well, I can't stay mad at them too long. They're still one
Oh
of my favorite
no,
bands.
yeah. This thing.
Yeah. Like,
It's okay.
yeah, it'll do the job. I'm trying to think of, like, actually horrible album art, and I just cannot.
Yeah, nothing's coming to mind. I
No.
mean, I think just the types of music that we listen to, like a lot of bands put time into art,
Yeah, I
You know.
appreciate that.
you know?
That's what you associate the album with, so it makes sense.
And that's what, like, I get inspired by because I'm so art heavy, and
Yeah.
so a lot of my favorite bands, like I was talking about Converge earlier, and you could look at bands like Slipknot. Like, Sean Cram was a huge influence on
Yeah.
me with the way that, and people might think, okay, well, doesn't he just play 2 trash cans or something?
Yeah.
And it's like, he actually does
He's the art guy of
a lot more than
Yeah.
you would think. Like that, the very first Slipknot album, the unreleased one, Mate Feet Kill
Feet, yep.
Repeat, with that picture of Joey standing in the middle
Oh,
of
that's
that.
Joey?
Yeah, it's Joey
Oh,
in the
and that
middle,
weird
in the
industrial
middle of
thing.
that sculpture. He built
Yeah.
that.
Oh, he did, really?
He welded that all together
Oh,
in like
that
3 days, and
green
then they stuck
sculpture.
it in the middle of the woods at midnight, and they took the picture.
That's a... I don't know how I feel about that album. That's a weird one, but...
That's a very interesting album.
Slipknot sort of has just... Okay.
Buy their new record. Let's get that said and done.
I didn't really like it too much.
I'm ashamed to admit I have not listened to it yet in full. I've heard bits and pieces. I liked some like Solway Firth I really liked.
I liked Unsainted.
People talked about how Unsainted sounded like a Stone Sour song, and at first I was like, you guys are crazy,
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? And now every time I listen to that song, I can immediately hear the chorus to Inhale by Stone Sour. And I'm like,
I wish you didn't say that.
I think about that, and I'm like, I just ruined this song for
Yeah,
me.
really.
Like, I can't do it.
Slipknot and Stone Sour were like all I listened to freshman year. That was a fun time.
They're
Freshman year of high
definitely
school.
one of the biggest influences
Yeah.
on me as far as what type of music, and like I said earlier about
Yeah.
art and the way I approach the making of a record, because you know, with 9 people in the band and people don't always, they say, oh, well, bands can make that with 5 people, and yeah, but it's still a bunch of layering, and
Yeah.
you know, most bands would make a record like that now, and they would backtrack everything, and you know,
Use a bunch of samples live. It's like not,
and they're actually like filling the live sound with
yeah,
with the extra drums added and extra samples and
yeah,
stuff like that added on over top.
yeah. That first album's art perfectly encapsulates it.
Yeah.
Iowa, I'd say so too. With the
I
goat.
love the Iowa album artwork. That I remember seeing that as a kid, and it blew my mind.
Let me. You want to talk about Iowa art? Let's talk about the CD of Iowa. Like,
The actual packaging to Iowa is
debatably the best album packaging for a CD I've seen ever. It is amazing. If you don't know, it's a big fold out thing with all lyrics on it, all the band members. And it's in such a chaotic and aggressive way that it just fits. you know?
yeah.
And the lyrics for Iowa are printed
The
on
lyrics
the CD
to the last
itself.
song are on the actual CD itself.
I was like, it's ridiculous, but that was one of the formative bands for me. I think Periphery, honestly, is probably the biggest influence on what I do or what we do as a band. More so me, only because that's just how I like to play. But I know Nick takes a lot of inspiration from like, what if we made Dream Theater but like deathcore?
Yeah, and you know, with everything that we do, you know, because we're influenced by so many different types of music, whether it's Dream Theater, whether it's the Halo 2 soundtrack, whether it's
Hey.
Kaunashi, you know, and we're just taking all of that. And when you get genres like that, like progressive metal or death metal or whatever, and after a while, it just kind of becomes part of the fabric of
Absolutely,
metal as a
absolutely.
whole. And so, yeah, we're going to take from all of that. We're going to have fast parts, slow parts, proggy parts. We're going to have melodic stuff. We're going to have, you know, fast parts. We're going to have everything. And it's just a matter of taking all those tools and building good songs out of it.
Yeah, that's the problem I have with a lot of newer bands coming out now, is that they like to do one thing, which they do really well, and they like to just stick with it. Like, I praise the new Knocked Loose album because it tried new things. Excuse me,
Absolutely.
I just burped a little. Oopsie. Trying to think what song it was. I think it was Room whatever.
Room 23, I
Room,
think it's called?
yeah, Room 23, Room 69. The stuff that they did on that song, that would have never happened on like pop culture or something.
No. One thing I will say about the new Knocked Loose record is people always debate whether to call them a hardcore band or a metalcore band, and I'm always like, yeah, well, they're a hardcore band. But
Yeah.
now we get to this album, and there's like way more intricate playing. Like
Mhm.
Isaac and Cole are just shredding on songs, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, now we're definitely leaning more towards being a metal band, and I think they're
Yeah.
bringing in some of those like Slayer influences and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's no secret. Every metal band under the sun has been influenced by Slayer.
This is true, but like they're being more upfront about it.
Yeah. I'm going to read a little thing real quick just to get it out of the way. The last one of the night, I promise. Attention KU community from the KUR notebook. Attention KU community. I said that twice. Oopsie. The GLBTQ Center and Allies host trans and non-binary support groups every other Friday at 6:30 p.m. in the GLBTQ Resource Center. There's also History Through the Queers discussion groups that focus on queer art history and female artists. Contact the center for more information. This message brought to you by the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR. And that's it for the legal bogus tonight. Woo!
Back to metal.
Got through it. Back to metal. Actually, you know what? We have 6 minutes left. Not even. We have 5 minutes left. You want to just talk about Halo?
Oh, we didn't talk about Halo
We
yet.
didn't talk about Halo. We got to talk about Halo.
Oh no!
So, you have to tell me right this second, because we're running
Oh,
out of
God.
time, what your favorite Halo game is. Go ahead.
2.
I like you.
I'm just gonna.
That's why we put you in the band.
Yeah.
I think, I'm getting a million texts right now. Everybody wants to play Halo with me now.
Let's do it. Come to our merch table and try and beat Andrew and I in a 2v2.
Yeah. I've definitely, oh man, that's like, I remember like when Halo, I don't remember when Halo CE came out, but I remember
2001.
I was a year old kicking it then. But my dad
Oh,
and
yeah.
my dad and his friends used to play it all the time, and they used to let me watch. I was like, "Can I play?" They're like, "No, you can't play. This isn't for you." And then one day, like a month or two before Halo 2 came out, they like gave me the controller. Like, "All right, have fun." I nearly cried, dude. I was so happy. was like, I'm finally a big boy.
I wanted it for so long, but I'm not going to... I jokingly call myself a poor kid. I'm not a poor kid. But my family didn't have a lot of money growing up. So the idea of, hey, I want a brand new $400 game console to play this game designed for people twice my age, like that went right over my parents' head.
Yeah, that wasn't happening. So
then I begged and begged and begged because I saw pictures of it. I saw my friends playing it, and I was like, what is this?
Like, I need this now.
Yeah. And I scavenged the internet.
Yeah.
Looking for everything I could. And then when I finally got the game, I was just... It just blew me away, no pun intended.
Breaking Benjamin. When Halo 2 came out, when I was like a month before Halo 2 came out, we went to a game convention, like me and my dad. Remember they had like pre-release copies of it there, and me and my dad played a death match against each other, and I was like, oh my, like this is why. I remember it vividly. It was Ivory Tower, and I played it as an elite. I was like, I want to play an elite so bad, so I did. The rest is history. Good times.
And that's how we got to where we are today.
Yeah, listening to the Halo 2 soundtrack while
that
driving.
game, honestly, like the story and just I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary behind the making of that game. Like that was an influence on me, just to see, them being on time crunch, having to like cut certain things out and rearrange things so that they would flow better.
Absolutely.
And just the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that went into making that.
It's kind of inspiring for like other bands, So
yeah, and I tell people, people might say like, you play in a metal band, like why, like how, in what way are you inspired by Halo of all things? And I'm like, take influence from everything. You know, like
basically
one of the biggest influences on me right now. I started working for my friend Scott, doing some editing for him. He works over at Twitch. And he's also like a classically trained opera singer, and it's just like the greatest thing in the world. Like I hear him sing and him sharing his passion, and I'm like, absolutely, like I back this 100%.
Yeah.
I want him to sing on a record, but I don't know if that's gonna happen or not.
That will make it work.
I want him to sing on A Faltering Smile, but
might be able to make that work. It's a big maybe, but yeah, that's
I need blessings from the heavens.
From the heavens, please get the opera man on the track. But, yeah, I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat lately, as I do.
Been playing a lot of Apex lately.
Oh, God, I never got into that.
Because I'm a quote-unquote trend hopper.
No, I don't feel bad. I was playing Fortnite when everybody else was.
Game's fun.
So, game is fun.
And being a Titanfall fan,
it just,
that helps.
It worked, so.
Which everyone should go out and get Titanfall 2.
I'm not feeling Titanfall. I'm feeling like...
Have you played Titanfall?
I played the first one. I didn't really dig it that much.
Play the second one and play the story mode.
Give it a shot. I'm thinking of picking up Street Fighter 5.
Street Fighter 5 is really good.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing that. I got the fight stick. I better use it.
Soul Calibur is really good.
Ah, the OG. I remember playing that on the Dreamcast with my dad.
Good times.
Good times. All right, folks. Well, the good times are unfortunately coming to an end because we have 15 seconds left of the broadcast. So, thank you for tuning into the School of Mosh with Professor Zammetti and Nico. We'll see you guys a lot more over the semester.
We'll be back.
Oh, we'll be back.
Buy our record.
You betcha. Buy the new Catharsis Theory record whenever it comes out. But for now, just stay cool. I'll see you next time.
It's the top of the hour, and you're listening to KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University. On air on campus at 1670 AM. Streaming online at www.kutztown.edu/KUR. At select times of the day on the KUTV information channel on various venues like Hometown Utilicom Channel 8 and Service Electric Lehigh Channel 966. On your smartphone by using a free app like TuneIn. You can listen to KUR anywhere you have a phone, even a simple landline, just by dialing 563-999-3101. You can also hear select KU radio programming on your time on demand on mixcloud.com/KU radio. KUR, Kutztown University's source for talk, music, and everything in between.